Guys, Spencer Trippy here. I got a pretty big surprise for you today. I got two X and Y booster boxes, looking pretty cool. So we're going to open those up today. It'll probably go to multiple videos, seeing as they do take a while. But we'll get those all uploaded and see what we get. Alright, so we'll start with the one on the left and see where we go. Alright, looking pretty cool. Most of the packs are Xerneas, Yveltal, and then we got the two Megas in this set, Blastoise and Venusaur, so we should get those later. We'll see what they look. So, let's just get started. And we'll start with Yveltal. Alright, and we got Fennekin, Rhyhorn, Panpour, Ekans, Fletchling, Fairy Garden, not bad, Kakuna, Diggersby, and a Delphox, awesome. And then we got Lapras here too, awesome. Not a bad first pack. Delphox is most likely to be a really big card in this set. It's like Voltorb, but allows you to draw up to 6 cards before attacking, so that's pretty cool. Definitely good in Raybor decks. Alright, next one. We got Fletchling, Fennekin, Voltorb, Tailo, Chespin, Lunatone, Solrock, Dodrio, Chestnut, pretty big, and a Great Ball, not bad. Chestnut, not as good as Delphox, but still pretty interesting. It's got that spiky shield, so any time it's hit or damaged, it puts 3 damage counters on the attacking Pokemon. It's pretty big. If you got like a Rock Guard that's doing 90, then his attack does 90. Could be interesting, does 180. But most likely not as good as Delphox or the Greninja. We'll see if we get to one of those. Alright, so here's one of the other packs. Blastoise, pretty cool. Alright, see if we can get that open there. Alright. Okay, so we got Skitty, Spoink, Pawniard, Fletchling, Fennekin, red card. Definitely a big card in this set. Not sure exactly how powerful it'll be, but definitely think it'll see play and see people try to do something with it. Not exactly sure. Pretty much just shuffles your opponent's hand and makes him draw 4. Could be good disruption, especially powerful in the first turn if you can try to lower their hand size, limit their options first turn. Could be big. Roller Skates, another big item that's questioned. Basically, it's flip a coin and draw 3 cards if it's heads. So, while pretty inconsistent, could be very powerful. So, we'll see exactly whether that's used or not. Alright, then we got a Crocodile, a Wigglytuff. I really like this card. The attack, Hocus Pocus. Pretty funny. And Zorua. Alright, nothing great in that pack, but the 2 item cards are pretty decent. And then here's the other one here. We got Mega Venusaur, looking pretty cool, like got here. Pretty cool. Mega Evolves. Alright. Trying to figure that out, how that works for this one. Some sets are different. Trying to get the good thing. So the last card is the Ultra. Alright, so we got an Inkay, Slugma, Pansage, Staryu, Swirlix, Lunatone, Corsola, Sableye. Now most Sableyes are pretty good. This one's alright. It's better than the Plasma Freeze one, but certainly not as good as the Dark Explorers. And then we got Crocodile and Arbok. Not bad. Interesting attack and stop the defending Pokemon's ability until the end of the next turn. Most likely being a stage 1 and seeing that Garbodor exists, probably won't see any play. Alright, again, not the greatest pack, but we'll see what we get. Keeping going here. And I haven't exactly looked up the rates for whether they'll get a certain amount of Ultra Rares or not, but I'm assuming since it's a base set, we'll most likely get a pretty standard amount of Ultra Rares, Rares, and all that jazz. Alright, so we got a Scatterbug here, and then this is a base set, so it does have all basic energy. So a lot of packs will have that. It's kind of unfortunate, but it's pretty good for newer players, so I guess that's a good thing. But for more experienced players that have all the energy in hand, it's not the greatest. But anyway, moving on. We got a Rhyhorn, Honedge, Bidoof, Inkay, Frogadier, Professor's Letter, another really great item. It pretty much outclasses Energy Search. Just lets you get 2 energies for 1 item card. Pretty powerful. We'll definitely see play in Blastoise and Emboar decks. Alright, then we got Rainbow Energy. This is a new energy from the set. It's a reprint of an old energy because it's been in the game before. But basically, you put it on a Pokemon and it applies as any energy. So it's like Prism, but can work on non-basics. But it does have the drawback of having to put 10 damage down on the Pokemon. So that can be kind of tricky where you use it and whether it'll be effective or will like hurt you in the end. But nevertheless, a really good card, and it's a foil. That's nice. And then Conkeldurr. Alright, next one. Have trouble with a few of them. Alright, let's see. Alright, we got Pansear, Honedge, Spoink, Pawniard, Jigglypuff, Dunsparce, Braxian, Delcatty, Zoroark, interesting card, Corner, kind of like the Sneasel. I forgot which set the Sneasel was from. I believe Dark Explorers. But basically, the defending Pokemon can't retreat during your opponent's next turn, and it does 30 damage. Not too bad. And we got Simipour. Not the greatest, but alright. So yeah, not the greatest packs, but we do have a long way to go, and then we have a whole nother box too. So we'll make sure we get all that in there, and see what we pull. Alright, moving on. That one came off a lot easier. Alright. And we've got a Weedle. Fairy Energy, nice. It's the brand new energy in this set, so I'm always glad to pull one of those. They're not in really circulation, so this is the only way to get them right now, pretty much, except in the theme decks, which isn't a bad idea either. But definitely welcome those. Then we got a Skitty, another Spoink, Pawniard, Herdier, Fletchinder, Inkay, Electrode, not as good as the last one, but still pretty funny. And then we got Starmie, not bad, interesting. I always like Starmie, but not the greatest card. So yeah, another kind of disappointing pack, but again, like I said, we have a long way to go. Alright, kind of clean that up there. Alright. Alright, then we got Ekans, Timber, Electric Energy, Weedle, another Fairy Energy. So yeah, this can kind of be disappointing when you get 2 basic energies in one pack. It's kind of unfortunate, but moving on, we got a Great Ball, Spupa, Max Revive, interesting card. Kind of is outclassed by Super Rod a little bit unless you need something really quick. But yeah, decent. Bidoof and Rhyperior. A lot of people talked about this card. Looks interesting. It's alright, but being a stage 2 and got some heavy attack costs for the main attack Rock Wrecker, could be kind of difficult. Alright, so moving on to Yveltal. Alright, we got Diglett. It's got a funny first attack called Mine. You basically look at the top card of your opponent's deck, then you can choose whether to shuffle. Could do some funny mind games even if they didn't have anything, just to kind of disrupt their game or their mindset. Kind of funny. Jigglypuff, Shelder, Phantom, Steel Energy, Girder, Team Flare Grunt, not the greatest supporter. Lots of people have been talking about it, and I've seen it being played in lots of decks, but I really don't understand. It's not that great. Discarding Energy definitely is a powerful asset to any deck, but taking up the spot of a supporter, and it only being able to affect the active Pokemon really hinders this card, and it really shouldn't be there, like having to specify it to the active, seeing as it's a supporter. Next we got Deblade. Shadow Circle, nice. I really like this card. Basically gives all Pokemon that has any dark energy attached to it no weakness. So even a deck that doesn't necessarily use dark Pokemon, if you utilize dark energy or the blends, Prism, Rainbow, you can still use it to negate their weakness, which is pretty cool. And a Simisear. Alright, not too bad. Just your average Simi Seer there. So, again, not the greatest, but we'll get there. Gotta get to something good sometime. Alright, and we got Inkay, Phantom, Bunnelby, Pumpkaboo, Pampor, Hard Charm. A lot of people have knocked this card, but I think it has potential. Basically, it's like Eviolite, but can work on non-basic Pokemon. So it's pretty powerful just because it negates 20 damage on any attack that's done to the Pokemon it's attached to. And especially when combined with the new Fairy Pokemon, who have a resistance to Dark, which is a really popular type now. Basically, if you put this on there, any attack done by a Dark Pokemon is reduced by 40 damage. Now, that's really a lot when you think about it. Basically, Darkrai no longer is hitting for 90, he's hitting for 50. So, he's going from two-shotting any EX, like Xerneas EX, for example, to having to take 4 turns of Night Spearing just to knock it out. So, in the long run, this is just one small card that can really make a difference depending on what type of deck you run. Alright, next we got Illumis, Super Potion, Inkay, and a Skarmory. Alright, not the greatest EX in this set. In fact, it's probably one of the worst. But I'll welcome it because it's an EX. We haven't been getting a lot in these last few packs. So definitely pretty cool. Going to keep that off to the side. We can take a look at it here. It's got an attack for 2 colorless. Joust does 30. And before doing damage, can discard all tool cards attached to the opponent's Pokemon. So like with the card I suggested earlier, Hard Charm, basically before doing its attack, it would knock out the card. So rather than doing 10 damage, it still gets the 30 off there. So that's pretty interesting. And it looks like Tailspin, its next attack, Tailspin Pile Driver, is meant to be done in succession after Joust. Because basically, if your opponent's active Pokemon has already damage counters on it, this attack does 40 more damage. So basically that's doing 120 plus 30. So that's 150, not bad. If you attached a Muscle Band to Skarmory EX, plus and 20 damage, with those 2 attacks, you could do 170 damage. So it's getting rid of any tool cards you might need to discard to get damage down, like Hard Charm. And then it's getting the knockout. So, all in all, not the greatest card, but it does have advantage of hitting fairy types for weakness, so that's pretty cool. Gonna keep that off to the side and keep on going. Hopefully we get some of the megas. I've gone to 2 pre-releases and bought a few packs already, but I have not gotten any mega Pokemon. So that's what I'm looking for mainly for this set. I don't think they'll be too powerful, but I just really like the new mechanic and want to get a few cards of those for myself. Alright, so moving on. Alright, here we go. Doduo, Bunnelby, Pumpkaboo, Bidoof, Skiddo, Mr. Mime, Girder, another Rainbow Energy, Yveltal. This is a pretty good non-EX. I think I'll talk about it here. It's got 130 HP, it's Dark type, and it's got the attack Oblivion Wing for 1 Darkness Energy, does 30 damage, and its side effect of the attack, it acts as a Dark Patch. It basically takes a Darkness Energy from your discard pile, and you can attach it to one of your bench Pokemon. That's a pretty powerful attack, especially early game if you're like Ultra Balling or computer searching or dowsing machining energy away. You can get that right back with Yveltal's attack, as well as doing 30 damage. Even 60 with a Silver Bangle, or 50 with a Muscle Band. And then it's got Darkness Blade, pretty standard. Does just 100 damage for 2 dark and a colorless. And then you flip a coin, and if tails, this Pokemon can't attack during your next turn. Although that can be worked around with either like a Keldeo Rush In and Retreat, or Darkrai's Dark Trance can just get Yveltal out of there. And then you can even start hitting with a Yveltal EX that you just charged up with Oblivion Wing. And then we got Scolipede. Alright. Not bad pack. I'll take the Yveltal. It's a good card. Alright. Here we are, and we got Skiddo, Zorua, Ekans, Timber, Lightning Energy, Dodrio, Ledian, Great Ball, Mr. Mime, and Bisharp. Yeah, nothing too great here. Metal Sound, Confusion. Yeah, nothing great here. So we'll just keep moving on there. Alright. Alright, we got Ekans, Timber, Lightning Energy, just like last time. Timber, Lightning Energy. Weedle, Great, another pack with 2 basic energies. So we got a fairy there, Quilladin, Evo Soda, another talked about card. It's a pretty cool item. Basically, if you play this card down and you have, like, say, a basic or a stage 1, you can search your deck for a Pokemon that evolves from that and play it down. Now, unfortunately, this can't be used your first turn or the turn you play down a basic Pokemon, so it kind of is pretty slow and kind of gets outclassed by just Ultra Balling or using some sort of search card, or using Rare Candy to jump from the basic to the stage 2. So, I don't know, if those cards go out of rotation, then Evo Soda could be the best option, but at the moment it's kind of outclassed. Then we got Spupa, Leddyba, and Malamar. Alright, this actually is a pretty talked about card. It's attack Mental Trash. You flip 4 coins, and for each tails, the opponent will discard a card from her hand. Now, something interesting that was talked about this card is that people assume that because your opponent flipped the coin, then that way you couldn't use the Flip-Teeny, which allows you to re-roll coins, in order to get more cards discarded from your opponent's hand. But this was actually a mistranslation from Japan. So it turns out that you can use Flip-Teeny. So if you're not satisfied, say they only get like 1 tails and they only have to discard 1 card, you'd be like, wait, nope, you're actually going to have to re-flip those because of Victini. And then its other attack, Distortion Beam, isn't too great, but mainly used for its mental trash to do some early game disruption. Could go along with a red card, really nice. You just red card them down to 4 cards, use mental trash, and all of a sudden they don't have anything to use, and then you can just basically set up or try to use Distortion Beam the next turn with a DC or something. So definitely an interesting card, something to look out for. I don't know if it'll be that strong, but I feel it will see some play at some lower tournaments. Alright, next we got Spritzy. Nice, if we ever get any Aromatisse, I'll definitely need some of the basic. Leddyba, Lillipup, Froakie, Sandile, Corsola, Diggersby, Leddian, another Diggersby, nice, and Simisage. Alright, Diggersby isn't too great, but I am particularly fond of that guy, so I'll take him. Alright, moving on. Still got quite a few great cards coming up. I assume that if this is the base set, then it will have the standard number count of EXs and whatnot. So we should be getting a few of those coming up soon. So we got the Shelter there, Talo, Timber, Pikachu, Darkness Energy, Fairy Garden, Whirlipede, Shauna. People have kind of said this card will be outclassed, and right now N probably is a better choice. However, Pont was a pretty popular card in a few seasons ago, and it was this exact card, but you get to draw 6 instead of 5. So basically, you shuffle your hand into your deck, and then draw 5 cards. So basically, the old Pont was shuffle in, draw 6, and it was an extremely powerful supporter at its time. So I feel when certain cards seem to go out of rotation, because N has been in for quite a while, they'll have to go out eventually, and these cards probably will replace them, because this is actually, in my opinion, not a bad supporter. Then we got a Braixen and a Wigglytuff. Alright, this one doesn't have Hocus Pocus, but it's got Balloon Barrage. Also pretty fun. I like the theme of fun attack names with the fairy Pokemon. Alright, next pack. Spritzy, Leddyba, Lillipup, Froakie, Sandile, a Muscle Band. Nice. This is probably one of the strongest cards in the set. Basically, Muscle Band here just adds 20 damage to any attack that from a Pokemon that this is attached to. So it is pretty insanely powerful. Silver Bangle had the drawback of needing to be non-EX, and so that way it was kind of balanced. It wasn't too bad. It was just kind of equaling out non-EX Pokemon with EX Pokemon. But with this guy here, it can be attached to EX, and even though it's 1 damage counter less, or 10 damage counters less than the Silver Bangle, it is still insanely powerful and will definitely see play in almost every deck. I honestly feel this will be a staple for most decks, just like Catcher was when it first came out. I honestly have no idea what they were thinking when they